What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode.
Yeah.
So it's been a whole nother week of
Yes.
World Cup games, a
Yeah.
lot, a lot of World Cup games. So we wanted to kind of
Facts.
just chat about that again.
hmm
So Millie, take it
Yeah,
away,
there's
please.
been a ton of action. This World Cup has been massively entertaining. There's been a ton of goals. There's been some upsets already. There's been some surprising results. Yeah, it's kind of been all encompassing. I think, there's a lot of good things about this World Cup that we can talk about, at least on the footballing side. And yeah, that's what we'll do. So
Yes,
get straight
let's
into
get
it.
into it.
Well, another weekend, I guess most important thing to call out is that we are now moving beyond the group stage. So
Okay,
a lot of the games this week specifically were the final group stage matches. And so because of that, a lot of the games were played at the same time. So
got it.
yeah,
Oh, a lot
so,
of them were.
well,
Okay,
I shouldn't say a lot, but there are always going to be two games at the same time. So the last two games for each group are happening at the same time.
okay,
So, for example, like the games that just finished, the Germany, Ivory Coast, Ecuador group, those games all took place at the same time. So the
got
group
it.
would close at the same time.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
there's no like
Yeah, no,
I know
like,
who I would be playing next sort of
exactly. There's no
thing.
like match fixing or anything suspicious happening where a team, could potentially be winning a game and see that they're going to face X opponent based on their result and then try
Got
and,
it.
adjust the result. So in order to combat that, the games happen at the same time. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question.
hmm
Did you have any games that happened over the last week that were like super notable for you, or any teams that you would want to
Ooh.
kind of like chat about?
Oh, definitely. I think
Okay.
definitely. I think first thing to highlight is that the Golden Boot race for the World Cup is heating up.
What's that?
That is essentially the highest goal scorer at the World Cup. So
Oh,
it
okay.
is it's a race. There's been a ton of goals this World Cup. So you've got Mbappe in the running, you've got Holland in the running, you've got Messi in the running, you've got Ronaldo in the run. Yeah, yeah. Asterisk next to any
Yeah.
Argentina result, right? You've got Ronaldo in the running now, up and running.
Wow.
So there's just a ton of players who are scoring goals at this World Cup.
Dang.
Everybody has showed up to play, and everybody is showing out for their country. All of, like, I should say, the big names that we would expect to,
Yeah, of
so to
course.
speak.
Fair.
And I think, Portugal took a massive step forward this week, a
Okay.
5-0 victory. And let me just tell you how Portugal achieved this. In their first football match, Portugal made the grave mistake of starting Bernardo Silva. And in the case of him starting the game, Portugal plays massively slow, massively methodical. They do not have a strong midfield when Bernardo starts. And once again, it causes so many things. It throws so many things out of whack. The
Mm-hmm.
midfielders aren't in their correct positions. The wingers don't do what they're needed to do because Bernardo Silva is clogging up a lot of spaces. Portugal removed one person from the equation and they played football. Bruno
Yes.
Fernandes was finally allowed to excel in the football match once you remove Bernardo from the equation. And it allows Bruno so much more freedom. They're more organized. They attack with purpose. They create chances for Ronaldo. And look what happens. They won comfortably.
Yeah.
Ronaldo scored twice. Bruno created other chances. That is the way we expect Portugal to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that you had said during that game that I thought was pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool to see, and also like, I know big players can have big egos.
Right.
And so I thought it was really cool that you mentioned that Ronaldo was really just there hoping for Portugal to succeed and not being
Facts.
there selfishly to just
Facts.
score all the goals himself.
Yeah, and you really saw that with the set piece. I mean, I can count on a single hand how many times in my lifeline of 20 years watching Ronaldo that he has stepped up to a free kick, lined up, taken that deep breath, and not taken the free kick. The
Yeah.
fact that he let another person take that free kick, it shows that he is there for the squad.
Yeah.
He only cares about the team's success. And I think that was pretty obvious just based on that. It seems like a small action, but it's an important action,
Big one.
especially like for myself. If you've been watching Ronaldo for a while, he covets free kicks when he's on the pitch. So
Okay.
again, the fact that he was willing to relinquish that responsibility, let somebody else step up, highlights that he really just wants what's best for the team. So that was really
Yes.
cool to see. So I'm really glad that Portugal is up and firing now and has finally joined us at this World Cup.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Yeah,
Super cool.
fantastic. The next one for me is going to be Brazil. I think
Ooh,
Brazil
okay.
really popped off in their last game. I mean, a 3-0 victory, massively comfortable, but the keys to the Brazil team are Vinicius Jr. and Mateus Cunha.
Mm,
Once again, our Manchester United lads stepping up and putting the team on the back. Cunha not only works hard off the ball defensively, but when he picks up the ball in those transitional moments and explodes through the middle of the field, it's pretty fantastic. He's a game changer for Brazil. He really is able to bring that energy that Brazil need. And
yes.
it's just great seeing him score another goal. He's got 3 goals in 3 games for Brazil.
I mean, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
That's
just brilliant. It's
so
just brilliant.
brilliant.
Yeah, so fantastic for Cunha and great to see him, playing so well. And I think Vinny
Yeah.
Jr. also, once again, just showing his level, showing that he's there to represent Brazil and wants to get the results. And Vinicius with the 2 goals, they were never in doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
capitalizing on another team's mistakes is what you got to
Gotta
do.
do it.
I have no clue what Scotland was doing. I mean, I
I
don't
know another previously United lad
I
on that
know,
team.
yeah, I know. I mean, I always am a big fan of Scott McTominay and always want him to do well and thrive and stuff. But the World Cup for Scotland just hasn't been the place, and that definitely speaks volumes to the qualification pathways that certain countries get in comparison
Mm.
to other countries. But again, that's neither here nor there.
Ooh.
Because again, some of the European countries get a little bit of a easier pathway to the World Cup than, for example, Brazil, who has to play Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's a little bit different in terms of a
Yeah.
level of qualification standard, but that is what it is. That's
Yeah.
something we can't really
Fair.
adjust at this
Super
point.
random question.
Mm,
And if you don't know the answer, that's also totally fine. How do
right.
they determine the groups? Is
The
it like a
groups,
draw
yeah,
or
it's all just like random, just
random? Okay.
randomized. Yeah,
But they
yeah.
have to qualify within like their
Their region,
continent or
yeah,
okay.
exactly. So every continent qualifies like in different like groups in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can get automatic qualification through winning certain tournaments. So if you win the Euro, the Euro competition, you're in there.
Oh,
If you win the Copa
okay.
America, you're in there. If you win the Gold Cup, you're in there. So it
Ah,
essentially works like that as well. So
interesting.
there's like kind of buy-ins you can get at different stages.
And then other people have to like play for it,
Exactly,
basically.
yeah. And then you've
Okay.
got like playoff games and results of those playoff games for teams that are right on the cusp. So, yeah, the qualification process is pretty robust. It does take, a good 2 years to figure everything out
Oh, wow.
for the
I had
leading up to the World
no
Cup. Yeah,
idea.
qualifying starts way back.
This is my first World Cup. I think I said
Yeah.
that in the last video, but
Well,
I'm learning
when I'm
so many
always
things.
complaining, during the Man United season about all these international breaks, that's what's
Oh,
happening at a lot of
duh.
international breaks. So sometimes it's
That makes
friendlies,
so
but
much
other times it's
sense.
qualification games and stuff
Wow,
that is
so many
interrupting
dots are connecting in my head right
interrupting the
now.
friend season for us. But yeah, they get it done.
Okay.
But yeah, and
Anyway,
obviously this World Cup is the largest World Cup in history. They've included more teams this World Cup than any other
ooh,
before. So
that's pretty cool.
continuing to expand the tournament as a whole to really make it a global tournament as it's meant to be.
Yes,
So that was pretty
absolutely.
cool. I got to give FIFA a nod for that because they did well by expanding the
Expanding it,
tournament. Yeah.
definitely. Okay, really cool.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
anyway, back to what you were saying about the
Yeah.
games, the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
games.
I'm trying to think of another big result. We saw another big one was the Netherlands, our
Ooh,
country. The
yes.
Netherlands really,
Netherlands.
really showed up. They play again tonight, but in their previous
Oh,
game, they
okay.
won 5-0, really just
Another
smacking.
5-0.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I believe it was against like Sweden or Switzerland. So, I mean, it wasn't against a pushover team. The Netherlands showed up and were massively consistent and dominant against a decent footballing side. And
Sweden,
against Sweden,
5-1.
cool, 5-1. So it definitely highlighting Netherlands were similar to Portugal in the sense where they didn't really kick off in that first game, but this
Mm-hmm.
second game we really got to see what they're capable of, and I think that was like really amazing.
Yeah, they really came together in the second
Yeah,
game for
facts,
sure.
and just love to see that from the Netherlands because there's so much potential. And I think the question really was who's going to be their goal scorer? Who's going to step up? Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cody Gakpo and some of the other guys have really stepped up, and that's great to see. So good for the Netherlands.
Yes,
Really,
absolutely.
really hopeful that they'll be successful. So
That would be super cool to see.
I'm trying to think some other notes. I think a big one for Brazil was that Neymar got his first minutes in the World Cup.
Ooh,
So obviously, as we know, in the World Cup build-up, there was the big question about whether Neymar would get to participate with Brazil, though be it probably his last World Cup, and it was a big thing that was on the cusp for a while. But he inevitably did make the Brazil World Cup team, and though he dealt with an injury for the first couple of games, he was able to get in for Brazil's last game for
dang.
about 10, 15 minutes, I believe. So just fantastic to see that.
Wow,
He's
okay.
kind of a legend, resurgence of a legend, but, he probably won't get as many minutes as we're seeing probably Ronaldo or Messi get for their respective countries. But I still think having Neymar is an asset to the Brazil team, if not on the field, at least for like the morale element of the team, because he
Mm-hmm.
is definitely
Is
probably a leader within that group.
okay. And he was a previous United
No,
player?
no, no.
No,
He played
okay.
for Barcelona and PSG. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So, yeah, phenomenal player, but definitely on the back end of his career now. But really cool that Brazil still made room for him and got him out
That's
on the
super
pitch. So
cool.
that was really cool. And
Love
then,
that.
yeah, so cool from there. I think a big result today is probably the Germany Ecuador. Obviously, Ecuador is now going to be advancing there in the top of the third place bracket, which is huge for them.
Yes.
They're making history. The Ivory Coast is going through in the World Cup for the first time in their history, which
Wow.
is massive as well. They won today, 2 goals from Nicolas Pepe to get them across the line, which was massive. And of course, held deeper implications because Germany lost to Ecuador.
Right. So what is
Um,
that like? That's just super surprising
yeah,
for
just a
Germany.
huge
Okay.
upset for Germany. I mean, Germany probably always has a certain level of expectation coming into these tournaments. They're obviously going to be one of the favorites
Of
to
course.
succeed in one of the European giants. So they have a certain level of expectation that is carried along with them every time they come to this tournament. So, yeah, losing to a first time participator like Ecuador, I feel like is a little bit humbling and a little bit of a notch in the German belt. And they'll have to really figure that out, figure out what went
Yeah.
wrong. It looked like today, honestly, Germany just got outworked on and off the ball. And that is what it's going to come down to. In some of these games, your football alone will not get you across the line. There has to be that extra that's going to get you there.
Yeah.
And today, Ecuador had that. So great for them to get that win.
Yeah, truly. That was a
Yeah.
pretty exciting game. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw both goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and then obviously it was at the same time, so we were watching
Yeah.
two
I was
different games.
totally double screaming
But
watching
the goals
both.
were really good. I remember the one where he basically kicked it out of
Keeper out
the
of
keeper's
Neuer's
hand.
hands.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah. Got there
crazy.
right before him. So, yeah, just brilliant stuff. I think another solid performance from Team USA as well. They handled Australia pretty nicely. Australia, as we knew, was going to be like the tougher opponent in this group for the United States. So Team USA once again showing up and showing out and handling a game very comfortably. And that win for them, I think it was the first time the United States has achieved back-to-back victories in the group stage at the Men's
Wow.
World Cup. So
Dang.
Pochettino, he knows what he's doing. He's the man in charge. He's leading Team USA. And honestly, USA, if they advance the way that they're expected to, their pathway to the final, like the quarterfinals, isn't too bad. So again, not to put pressure, but there is a little bit of expectation with Team USA that they'll handle some of these opponents that they should beat and progress deeper onto the tournament. So
Yeah, so it'll
let's
be
hope for the best
interesting.
for for that.
Yeah.
And of course, they play Turkey again tonight for the first time. So
Ooh,
we'll see how they
okay.
do and see if they can close out their group, and hopefully they will and get a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So big things.
big things. And I think, I won't skate over it as quickly as we did last week, but I think it's important to note that Argentina played their second match once again in the World Cup, and once again was filled with controversy. I mean,
Oh,
we've got Argentinian players who are elbowing and studding players as they're falling off the field, and those players are then getting a yellow card for complaining about it. And it's just like, if you watch the replay, you can see him elbow him, and then you see him stud him, and the referee.
doesn't see anything.
When it comes to Argentina, VAR and FIFA don't care. They are untouchable. And it is
Why?
foul watching them play.
Why?
It is just so ridiculous, in my opinion. You've already got the footballers to be a good enough team. You've already got that. And yet, you guys still take every cheap shot, every blow, every opportunity to be dirty footballers. Argentina does it. They are taking advantage of this FIFA favoritism and continuing to somehow dodge VAR's cameras and get away with absolute highway robbery.
Yeah,
It is insane.
truly.
It is just nuts to see it. And one thing that is important to note is like the Vinicius Jr. goal that got taken away yesterday, right? It would have been for his hat trick.
Mm-hmm.
He puts his foot on the ground. The defender makes contact with his foot as he's winning the ball, and they call the foul on Vinny. In Argentina's goal, or in a build-up in a goal that was scored against Argentina, they claimed that there was a foul in the play, and the foul was way, way, way lighter than what we've just seen, even with the Vinicius incident.
Wow.
And they chalked the goal off. So it's just like we, FIFA, we really just want to see some consistency. We want to see Argentina get called the exact same way as the rest of the teams in the tournament. I don't think we're asking for too much here. It's been a relatively fair tournament, except for when one specific team plays. It does not make sense. Please, please, please get someone who is actually impractical that will run VAR for an Argentina match. Someone who will actually call it fairly. Someone who will hold them accountable if they stud someone after a play is over. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Just some common decency in the sport. No one is, asking them to go back and give Messi a red card. We're not being ridiculous, right? Even though FIFA clearly missed the call. All we're asking for is for now that these clear incidents of Argentina have been documented, very, very visibly documented, we want them to be judged fairly. Because just like World Cup, all of us will have an entire list of documentation of all this BS adding up, which will discredit their victory if they win in the end.
Yeah,
once again,
true.
right? Last World Cup, they got a penalty every game up to the final, and then in the final. We don't want to see that again.
Ridiculous.
FIFA, please stop with the favoritism. Please, just this one time, stop with the favoritism.
Truly.
That's all.
That's crazy.
So, on another note, France. Bless you. France looked fantastic.
Did they? Okay.
They've turned up another level. They've unleashed Mbappe, Olise. I mean, they just look fantastic. France is a proper footballing team, proper footballing nation. They bring it every match, every game. I'm just excited to see what France is going to do, what they're going to bring, how they're going to attack the opponent.
Ooh, okay.
And that's just amazing. Like they have really so much depth to their squad, so much diversity in their attack and the way they move the ball. They can hit you on the counter, they can hit you with the long ball, or they can just pass you off the pitch. It's just brilliant. Wow. They are a proper footballing team.
Dang,
so
I gotta lock in more.
I'm very excited to see France play their next match. Excited to see how they progress throughout the tournament. I think that once again, they would be favorites. They don't need any special referee calls. Yeah. They don't need anything. They just show up and play their football. They're not arrogant, they're confident, and they know how good they are, and they're playing like it. And that's just France.
Yeah.
So that's just brilliant. Yeah, I just love seeing them thriving. So
that's really cool. So I feel like because they played Senegal
last? No, they played Iraq last and wiped Iraq through them. But now that you brought up Senegal, that does bring up a good point because Senegal actually lost to Norway. And I don't even know if Senegal, I think they're going to be out of the tournament because they lost to France also. So that's pretty disappointing for the African champions to turn around and lose 2 games back to back.
Wow.
We would have kind of expected Senegal to be the favorite team against Norway. Obviously, Norway has Haaland and Odegaard and some of those guys that are, Premier League players. But at the same time, Senegal as the African champions, we kind of had a little bit of expectation that they were going to bring it to this tournament and kind of stake their claim. Obviously with that whole controversy with Morocco and all that good stuff, we were kind of hoping that they would show up and just dominate. But yeah, a little disappointing there for Senegal.
Yeah, that is disappointing. I didn't even realize that. Dang.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was their second loss, but yeah.
Tomorrow they actually play Iraq.
Okay,
So I
but
guess
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
That'll be
Oh,
for
they won't
nothing.
get through anything
Nah, I don't
anyway.
think so. I
It'll
mean, I
just be
think if
kind of
they
like
win,
a
they could potentially fall on that third place winners group and or third place progressors, but I don't
okay.
know exactly how many people are going to be in that. So, like, essentially, a select few third place teams in each group are going to still get to advance, but that doesn't really get solidified until all the final games are played. So,
Got
we'll just have
it.
to see what
Okay.
happens and see who sneaks through. But I think overall, Senegal would be pretty disappointed with their performance. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, especially considering that they were the African
Yeah,
champions.
yeah, because that's like a
Shoot.
big and long tournament. So you would expect them to perform in the tournament situation a little bit better, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Another one, that team that showed up was Spain. Spain had a 4-0
Oh,
victory. Yamin Yamal got on the
dang.
score sheet. And they finally were starting to find a little bit of momentum. They were obviously kept to a goalless draw in their first game.
Okay.
So to see them finally turn on the burners and show what they're capable of was really great as well. I think Spain is another team that has a lot of potential in this tournament. I think as the defending European champions, they've got a lot to prove. So
Yes.
we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. But I think it was a very good win from them, obviously.
Yeah,
And I think
definitely.
they're a sturdy team. That's a sturdy team for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we watch Barcelona play. I
a
mean, I
good bit,
know,
yeah.
obviously not everyone on Barcelona is from Spain, but
Right,
like
yeah.
a lot of people probably
Fit the
are.
bill, yeah.
So, yeah, we know that they have probably a pretty stacked
Yeah,
team.
for sure, for sure. But I think for me this week, the biggest glaring, underperforming, sad to watch game was the England match.
Oh,
England versus Ghana, 0-0 tie.
dang.
Thomas Tuchel, are you kidding me? Gordon and Madueke on the wings in the World Cup? I mean, the jokes are writing themselves
I
on you,
mean,
Thomas Tuchel, because when you have Kobe Mainu on the bench and you have Marcus Rashford on the bench, two exceptional players, game changers, every et cetera, et cetera, et
mm-hmm.
cetera, sitting on your bench and you're not utilizing them, the finger can only be pointed back at you, Thomas Tuchel. And that
True.
is the reality. The last 10 minutes of the match were the best 10 minutes of football that England put together for the entire 90 minutes. And what was the common denominator with those last 10 minutes?
I was just gonna ask, did Manu or Rashford
Marcus
come on?
Rashford stepped
Okay.
onto the field. As soon as Rashford steps onto the field, England start attacking. They start putting in dangerous
Mm.
crosses. They start actually making some dangerous movements in front of goal and finally started dominating the game for the first time. In 11 minutes, Marcus Rashford shifted the entire atmosphere of the English match.
Wow.
11 minutes is not enough time, Thomas Tuchel. Are you trying to win the
For
World Cup right
Rashford,
now? Are you
please.
serious? Anthony Gordon did not take a shot on goal or have a key pass in 80 minutes. And Thomas Tuchel kept him on the field. I mean, an attacking player doesn't make an attacking action for 80% of the game, 90% of the game, and you leave him on the.
I
I
know.
mean,
That's
is
insane. Are
is
you insane?
yeah, Thomas Tuchel, please, please, please fix your life. Fix what you're doing right now. I have no clue what is going wrong in your mind right now, but it's actually baffling. I'm sitting here banging my hand against my head because around the 60-minute mark, you still have not made a single attacking substitution that's going to uplift the team. Idiot. Like, I mean, what are you doing, Thomas Tuchel, with all of these players at your disposal? I mean, honestly, after that last match, he probably should have been the second manager fired at the World Cup.
Ooh.
That is how bad of a decisions Thomas Tuchel is making.
Mm.
England are slow in possession. They're slow in the build-up. They're methodical in their attack. The attackers don't create nothing except for Kane because he's using the wrong ringers. You've got
Mm.
Saka, Premier League winner Saka, and Marcus Rashford with 30-something goal contributions in his previous season sitting on your bench. And you're playing a guy from Newcastle that, that didn't even score 5 goals this
Oh
season.
my
And
god.
he's starting in a World Cup in which England are in the group of favorites to win. And Thomas Tuchel is allowing subpar players to play 85 minutes of football.
Do you think he thought it was going to be one of those like easy pushover wins?
Against Ghana? Again, is Thomas Tuchel insane? Is he insane? No, he must have gotten bonked on the head. Maybe the teenager he's dating got him taking something. I don't
That's
know.
tea.
But what Thomas Tuchel needs to do is start Kobe Mainu, start Saka, start Marcus Rashford. I guarantee you England wins the game. Otherwise, England are heading to an early exit right now. I don't know if Thomas Tuchel is working as an undercover German agent right now to bring down the English
Ooh.
national team and force them to lose and embarrass themselves at the World Cup. But right now, it's looking like it. It's looking like it. That's all I'm saying. Two subpar performances. Well, actually, their first game was decent. And actually, when Thomas Tuchel made the right substitutions, they actually won the game. But this game, absolute laughable. Not good enough from England, not good enough from the manager, made terrible decisions off his bench. And if this continues, we will not see England progress at this tournament. And that is just the reality of it. The team that England is fielding, his starters, his starting 11 will not win this World Cup. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
You need game changers. You need solid. I mean, the fact that Anderson is starting over Kobe Mainu.
Where does he play?
Doesn't even matter because it's Kobe Mainu.
Well, I know that. I just don't know.
No. I know. It's just another white English guy. That's all I know. So we've got the most basic, boring midfield three of all time. Declan Rice, this guy Anderson, and some other knobhead. And all they do is pass, sideways, pass, sideways. Literally no insurrection, no anything, man.
Kobe's on the bench.
Kobe is sitting on the bench. So again, like, we as fans, you got to wonder sometimes, does the manager have the best intention in mind? I don't know. Again, Thomas Tuchel could really be on Germany's payroll. That's all I'm saying. A little spy action. Same thing I always say about Omar Barada at Manchester United. Are you actually trying to help our club?
From City.
Yeah. It's like, are you actually trying to help our club, or are you undermining it? I don't know. It's just hard to tell. For me, it's early stages in the tournament. You need to figure out who your fire guys are going to be. Who's going to score your goals? Who's going to assist your goals? That's what the group stage is for. So if I was Thomas Tuchel, I would have been making those 60-minute substitutions, getting Rashford on, getting Kobe Mainu on, and seeing which players are going to get us through this tournament.
True.
But instead, he's gone with the same boring lineup once again. It has underperformed. It didn't do well in this first serious game that England had to play against Ghana. And it is not a good sign for the rest of the more intense games that they have coming if the manager is unwilling to make adjustments. So starting the same team back-to-back games just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Not when the performance wasn't great from everyone, right? It's like Gordon played poor in the first game, subbed off, Rashford scored immediately. What does Rashford have to do to get a starting position?
I know.
Does he have to score and assist? But guess what? His one goal is more than both Gordon and the other guy have offered so far.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, Thomas Tuchel, what is your priority? Playing your favorites or winning the damn tournament? He'll have to decide.
Ooh.
He'll have to decide.
Yeah.
So just massively not good enough from England. Ghana did exactly what we knew Ghana was going to do. They showed up to play. They were strong. They were physical. And they also played football. And guess what? They are not a pushover team. No team at this World Cup and no team that is advancing to the next stage in this World Cup is going to be a pushover team. So if any of these big countries, England included, think they're going to show up to a game and someone's going to roll over just because of the badge on the front of your jersey, you are mistaken. You're not going to beat anybody like that. Look at Germany and Ecuador today. It is a glaring sign that all of these European giants have a target on their back by these other nations.
As they should.
Facts. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the next one. But I think Thomas Tuchel is leaving a lot of talent unturned on his bench, and I think that is a massive mistake. And if Kobe and Rashford both go this entire summer without playing a match and minutes, Thomas, you will be hearing from me. We're going to make a whole video labeled Thomas Tuchel, and it is going to be slander against your name, my friend. And it will start from your time at Chelsea. I don't know, maybe that's why you're mad at Rashford, because of all the goals he dropped on your head top when you were the Chelsea manager. But get over it, Thomas. Put him on the pitch.
I know. Be for real.
Come on.
Like
craziness. So yeah, I mean that's really the end. I really wanted to end on the England one because Thomas Tuchel actually pissed me off in this last match. And I think that England, has so much potential again. As we always say about English teams at these tournaments, they have massive potential again. But what will happen with that massive potential?
That's what we'll have
Let's
to
see.
see. Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's
So
see.
yeah, so that was really all. I mean, it was another good week of football, tons of goals, not too much controversy. I don't think there was as many red cards this week.
Yeah.
So I think, overall the pace of the World Cup is going pretty well.
Yeah. Still with Iran having to fly over every single time they play. I saw
Yeah,
something about
allegedly
that.
that might get removed if they advance to the next round. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay.
But again, no external conflict, political conflict should be influencing the World Cup football tournament. It's just
No.
absolutely baffling that that's been
Yeah.
allowed. I'll highlight once again that the hydration breaks are an absolute garbage. Just more forced advertisement by these thirsty capitalists that just can't take a break from trying to make money. We can't even
Couldn't
enjoy a football match.
I know. Can't just have the halftime
My
commercials.
God, it's like, I promise you, none of us are jumping up and grabbing our phone when we see your commercial. Your commercial makes us hate your company and hate your advertisement because you've interrupted the football match,
Yeah.
just so you know. And obviously, 90% of all ads nowadays are for GLP-1s, sports betting, and freaking,
I know. I don't
some
think
other
I've
like.
ever seen a commercial, at least especially not in recent times, where
Mm,
I'm like, I need to buy
I
that.
want that
I need
product.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just so far off the mark with the consumers, but these companies just don't realize it because, again, their C-suites are so far removed from the rest of us because of how much money they
That's
make. They'll just never comprehend what effective advertising actually looks like.
true.
But that's neither here nor there. Water breaks are still a joke and completely unnecessary, especially because so many of the stadiums are enclosed. If you're going
Hmm.
to have water breaks, they should be weather-based water breaks. So if it's
True.
hot outside and you're outdoors, then you can have a water break.
Of
Having a
course.
forced mandatory hydration break so you can force ads in our faces is ridiculous.
Yeah, and also just like you say, messes with the entire flow of the game.
Yeah, it's messed up the flow of games. It messes up the strategy of games. It's just everything. Coaches aren't supposed to be able to talk to their players at that point. They should be screaming from the sidelines at that point in the match. It's just a joke. Any footballer that has shown up to the World Cup is more than capable of playing at least the first half fully uninterrupted. So, I mean, at least move the hydration break to the second half. But
Yeah.
interrupting the first 45 minutes for peak athletes is just so dumb.
Insane,
It's
actually.
it's
Like,
so insane,
please be
right?
for
Like when you
real.
think of it that way, it's
Yeah,
actually
when you
nuts,
think of
right?
it that way,
Like
it's kind of
20.
like, damn, you really think that little of these
Yeah,
players?
that's what I'm saying. Like it is not about player health at all. Any footballer can run for more than 20 minutes, I promise you. So having a break that early in the game it's just laughable. So that's obviously a huge downside. But other than that, I think it's a pretty smooth World Cup so far. So this is our week 2 recap of the FIFA World Cup that's taking place right now in North America. The action is heating up. We're about to
Yeah.
finish up the group stage, so we'll be tuned in. Hope you are too.
So if you made it this far,
Thanks for watching.
see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.